Welcome back to Spoiler Free Wrestling, everyone, and we have an update today regarding the recent controversy surrounding Sammy Guevara and Impact Wrestling. So to bring you up to speed on what's taken place so far, there was a report that came out a couple of weeks ago from Slam Wrestling, and this report stated that Guevara had been sent home from the recent Impact Wrestling tapings due to rejecting previously agreed to storylines. Now, the article in Slam also says that Chris Jericho had sent a text to Guevara telling him to leave the tapings, and that the idea was that Guevara was in hot water for having rejected these storylines. There was then an update in the Wrestling Observer newsletter a few days later that clarified a little of what happened, and so here is what was written in the Wrestling Observer. Scott D'Amore told Guevara that they didn't need him when he arrived in Nashville if he doesn't follow the plans that had already been agreed to. Impact was really mad about AEW sending talent over, them putting plans in place, and then the talent wouldn't do what was planned. Meltzer also wrote about Chris Jericho's reaction to what happened between Sammy Guevara and Impact Wrestling. He said Chris Jericho was the one who put the angle together with Don Callis. It made Jericho look bad to Impact because he and Callis came up with the idea, and then Guevara didn't want to do it. So now, what were the rejected storylines that Sammy Guevara apparently didn't want to do? Well, that was addressed in the most recent edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter. So, regarding the Sammy Guevara stuff here, there were losses proposed and beatdown schedules, and while he was to win his last match, it involved a post-match beatdown that he wasn't coming back to get revenge for. And it also talked about Sammy Guevara having pitched to Impact that he win the X Division title. Guevara did propose to Impact that he win the X title, which they didn't plan for. Really, Tony Khan and Impact should have had everything worked out beforehand, and there was no point in having Guevara on the show, just being a guy on the show. So in terms of what anyone actually knows about this situation, what's out there is that AEW and Impact did have some general agreements as to what Sammy would be doing. However, once Sammy was on his way to the tapings or about to take part in the tapings, there was some disagreement regarding specifics, and this resulted in Guevara not taking part in the tapings. And so what this means for AEW and Impact Wrestling's relationship moving forward, both sides are kind of saying that everything's fine now, but we'll keep you up to date with what goes on between AEW and Impact Wrestling. Just make sure you click the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you don't miss more news or reports from Spoiler Free Wrestling.